First things first, welcome in or welcome back to the channel. My name is Grin, and I hope that you are having a wonderful day. I know I primarily make old school RuneScape content on this channel, but a new game released about a week ago that I had to try out called Marvel Rivals. It's a third-person hero shooter game similar to Overwatch in style, but has characters from Marvel Comics in it instead of the original characters in Overwatch, which is a big selling point for me because for those of you that do not know, I do love comic books, and my old school RuneScape name and channel name actually come from something comic book related, but that's a story for another day. I thought I would throw my hat in the ring and not make like a full review of the game, but at the very least talk about some things that I like and some things that I dislike in Marvel Rivals. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is the hero selection, because like I said, all of these characters come from Marvel Comics, which means basically no matter who they pick, the hero selection that you have available to you is going to be top notch pretty much no matter what. Like even with Jeff the Landshark being not, I don't want to say obscure, but definitely not everyone knows about this guy. I did not know about this guy. But he's just cute, and they managed to blend him into the hero shooter genre so seamlessly. And there right now it starts with 33 characters, so a very large amount of characters to launch the game with, and we have gotten many updates each and every day about the fact that there are so many new characters in the works still. Another great thing that comes with the amazing character selection you have is that with all of these characters being from comic books, they have all had so many different iterations of their outfits throughout all of comic book history, and there's just so much that can be drawn on for inspiration for cosmetics like the ones in the game that you're seeing now. And sure, not all of them are going to be from comics, but it still leaves quite a lot on the table that can be adapted and put into the game. That being said, to move on to something that I dislike is some of the designs are a little strange, and this last 5 people here is a great example of it. Some characters have just like the right proportions, like the Winter Soldier Bucky looks great. I think the character model that they have for him here is top notch. I honestly don't know how it could get any better than this. And same thing like Thor looks great. He looks a little bulky, but he looks good. I think that this style suits him. And then you move on to the other end of the spectrum. I mean, Venom also is another one that looks fantastic. Just looks like this huge bulking brute. But then you get onto the other end of the spectrum, like Wolverine just looks way too big. Like kind of what's going on here. I don't know what they did to our poor boy Wolverine. But he does have a great skin. He still looks a little bit big even in this skin, but I mean, if I was playing Wolverine a lot, I'd probably get this one and just kind of avoid this starter one here because I just really don't like it at all. But the biggest overall offender of this to me is the Punisher, because when I look at this Punisher, I'm not looking at Punisher, I'm looking at Bane. This guy's been hitting some venom, and honestly, he's got a bat's back somewhere to break, because this is not Punisher to me. Another great thing about the cast in the game and the lore they have backing them is the fact that you have such great chat interactions in the game. I recorded 2 voice lines for this video that I thought were just cool to hear, and it's just a nice added touch when walking to an objective or waiting for the game to actually start. So I'll go ahead and play just those 2 chat interactions for you.
Indeed, you are one of a kind, but that doesn't mean you have to be alone.
Odinson, your realm is in peril.
I will preserve it, and then you and I will have our reckoning.
On the flip side of this though, there are times where you end up walking to an objective alone and there isn't any music. I don't know why you wouldn't include some kind of background music, even if it can just be turned off, to avoid some situations where you end up walking back alone and the game just kind of feels a little lifeless or empty. One thing I do love is the fact that all characters have their own identity. Playing each one provides a different experience and has its own challenges and skill ceilings to reach. I play a fair bit of League of Legends with my wife, and a lot of the time it feels like every character is an assassin. If you come across a fed tank, you're getting one shot. A mage support, you're getting one shot. And if you come across a middle lane mage, assassin, or a bottom lane AD carry, you're getting deleted. And sure, you can just say skill diff and move on, and sometimes it is that way, but in this, sometimes it feels like the tanks can walk all over you, but if the tank is alone and doesn't have a strategist to heal them and keep them healthy, it's really not too hard to put them down. And it also feels like most duelists are just that, duelists, and who comes on top on the 1v1 feels pretty fair most of the time. Meanwhile, strategists are super satisfying to play because you can really feel the impact you're having. Without a good strategist or two on the team, it's actually really hard to keep healthy at objectives and really make any progress towards finishing the match. I will say that sometimes things can get a little visually cluttered and it's not always easy to tell kind of what you're looking at, and you just swing it into the blur that's in front of you. But it's definitely not all the time, and at the very least for me, it's usually not too hard to really tell what's going on, and I can usually keep things straight. But I do know that that is a challenge that some people are facing, and you might have to deal with it a little bit if you're playing this game. It also has a ranked system in place so that those of us that want to sweat a bit more and get a little bit of that team-focused experience have that option available to us once you hit level 10. It should be said, however, that you cannot play ranked games cross-platform, which I can understand why, but it's a bit annoying and a bit of a bummer that my friend that plays on Xbox is barred from playing ranked with me because I play on PC, and we are stuck to playing normal games, despite those still being fun. It also seems that in ranked, people do generally try to pick characters that make sense for a team, despite there not being a role queue system in this game, albeit not all the time. One thing some people are upset about is the fact that Marvel Rivals only has 8 unique maps at launch, which I guess isn't that many, but to me hasn't seemed like an issue. All the maps have parts of them which can be destroyed, which offers great opportunities to blow away the map and enemies' cover and change the landscape. The map also regenerates on its own after a bit of time, which is pretty neat, and I think it would be sick in the future to have a character that uses this to their advantage, like in their kit. Like, for example, the Hulk could have had a move where he picks up a piece of rubble from a broken part of the map and throws it at someone, and if he hits, it would deal, like, big damage because you have to break the map, get it, and throw it. It's required a bit of effort. It would also allow for players to have good skill expression and knowledge expression because they'd have to memorize the parts of the map that can be destroyed and use it to their advantage. But in my experience, the maps haven't been an issue for me. They've all been fun to play on, and none of them leave me groaning when I see that I'm going to be playing on them. Overall, though, I do think this game is just a plain good time, and it's worth at least trying, especially because it comes at the grand old expensive price of free. I know that I have been having my fair share of fun with it, and it's been great to load up and play with some friends. And with all that said, I hope you enjoyed this bit of different content. I still have my regular OSRS content being worked on, but if you guys enjoyed this, I thought it would be fun to splash a bit of Marvel Rivals content in here and there. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.